Welcome to the Bootstrap section of this course. This is where we kick things off with creating our custom theme. This section is all about creating a static HTML and CSS website, and we'll create it exactly how we want our WordPress theme to look. However, don't worry about WordPress at the moment. We just build this as we would do with any normal HTML website, and then we handle the conversion to WordPress in a later section. The first thing we need to do is to grab the Bootstrap core CSS and JavaScript files. And to do this, we need to head over to getbootstrap.com. This will take us to the version 4 of Bootstrap. I'm using version 4.3, and I would recommend you use the same if possible. To get started with Bootstrap, I'm going to go over to the documentation in the introduction section. On here, we have some quick start links. We have a CDN link for the CSS and also the JavaScript. And then below this, we have a starter template for our index page, and we'll come back and grab this soon. For now, though, I'm going to click on the download button from the menu, and then click on the compiled CSS and JavaScript link, and then start off the download with this button here. I'll be using this compiled CSS and JavaScript download, which will get us started really quickly. Once this is done, we can click on the package and unzip. Once this is unzipped, I'm going to move this over to the desktop. So let's drag this over. And then I'm going to rename this. So the name I'm going to call this is Tranquil-BS. So this is for the Tranquil Bootstrap version of our project. And later on, we'll create a Tranquil WP, which is for our WordPress conversion. The next thing I'm going to do is to grab the images. The images are included with this course, so go ahead and grab those if you haven't done that yet, and then drag these over into our folder. I already have Visual Studio Code open here, and you can use any text editor which you like for this course. To get started in VS Code, we just need to drag over our project folder, and then this will open up with the contents in the sidebar. This compiled version uses various CSS and JavaScript files. I'm just going to be using the bootstrap.min.css for this course, which is a minified version of the main CSS, which includes the available Bootstrap layouts and components we need. There's also different versions too if you want to make use of the CSS grid or Bootstrap's reboot, and you can find out more about what's included in these files in the Bootstrap documentation if you would like. Next up, we have the JavaScript folder, which is right at the bottom here. The same goes for the JavaScript. I'm only going to be using the main bootstrap.min.js file. And then, of course, we have the images which are supplied for this course. You will also notice there is no index.html file. This is not provided, so we need to go and create one ourselves in the root of this project. So in the main root, let's click on new file and let's create our index.html. If we go back to the browser and then back into the introduction section, we can now copy the starter template that we looked at before. You can either select all and copy, or you can just click on the copy button in the top corner. So copy this and then over to our index.html, we can now paste this in. So first of all, we have the Bootstrap CSS, which is up in the head section. This basic starter kit points to the CSS and JavaScript files we need from Bootstrap, and these are hosted on a CDN, and you can see by these links here. So let's now change these to point to our local files, which we added into our project. Starting with the Bootstrap CSS, in the href, we can remove this. And then we can point this to our CSS folder. So css/bootstrap.min.css. Down below, we can then look at our JavaScript. Scroll down to the very bottom. In the script sections, we have 3 different scripts here. First of all, we have jQuery, which we can leave in for now since we don't have this installed in our project. We can also remove the popper.js, which is the middle script just here. This is not needed for our project, and this is only required for certain Bootstrap components, such as when using tooltips and drop down links. However, if you do intend to customize the template we create to make use of these, you can of course leave this in. Then we need to change the core Bootstrap.js file to point to our local file. So if we remove the source here from the CDN link, and then change this to our JavaScript folder, and the file we want is bootstrap.min.js. Along with the core Bootstrap CSS we've been provided, we also want to add our own custom styling to override any of the default Bootstrap styles, which we can do with a custom CSS file. So back in the sidebar, in the CSS folder, we can create a new file, and this is called custom.css. We need to then link this in the index.html to point to this new file. So up at the top, we're going to add this just after the core Bootstrap CSS. Let's add a comment of custom CSS. We can then add our link. This relationship is a style sheet, and the href points to our CSS folder, and the name was custom.css. So as with any other website project, we should include our own custom style sheets last, so they will then be loaded last and override any of the style sheets above if required. In our case, the custom Bootstrap CSS. The last thing to do is to change this page title to be Tranquil Spa. Okay, good. So now we can give this file a save. I'm going to go to the index.html, copy the path, and then paste this into a new browser tab to open this up. You can also go into your project folder and double click on the index page to be taken to this. And now we see the hello world text, which is from our sample code, which is H1 just here. So that's it now for our project setup. I will see you now in the next video, where we'll begin customizing our theme by adding Google fonts.